everyone, welcome back to Warrior Princess Playback, and if you started the month by making a New Year's resolution to be a better person, maybe you'll relate to today's episode.
Watch how casually I bring up Xena Warrior Princess.
We're taking it all the way back to the very first episode with this one. Xena's fresh off her run as a villain on Hercules the Legendary Journeys, and she's ready to turn over a new leaf. Before we get going, don't forget to hit subscribe if you're a fan of Xena. I've done a lot of these reviews now, and there's always more on the way. Now let's dig in! In an opening that pulls no punches, Xena rides into the burnt husk of a village and flashes back to when her army burnt it all down. This orphan comes and asks for food, and she asks where his parents are.
They were killed by Xena, the warrior princess. She came down out of the sky in a chariot, throwing thunderbolts and breathing fire.
Honestly, given some of the stuff we see Xena pull off later in the series, this might have actually happened. Xena leaves some food on the ground and rides off, and that's the same face I make when someone gives me cheese. Xena finds a quiet spot, then buries her armor and weapons in the ground. Okay peeps, place your bets now. How long until her gear gets dug up? Is it A, next episode, B, right before the finale of this episode, C, after the first ad break, or D, before opening titles? Before she manages to leave the scene, she sees a crowd of villagers fleeing from some bad dudes. This guy's name is Hector, and I enjoy the fun vibe he manages to bring to this episode.
We can hack you all into little pieces and take the girls anyway.
A familiar village girl bravely stands up to him.
Take me, let the others go.
Nice try.
So Hector asks for his whip, and Xena takes that as her cue to step in.
Now we take the gloves off. Start hacking.
Alright folks, here we go. First fight scene of the whole show, and Xena's going to do it in her nightie with no weapons. Nice. First war cry. First time she does this kicky thing using a spear. Always a favorite of mine. They charge at her and flip and smack. Nice. One of the men picks up Gabrielle and tries to make off with her, but whee! Then someone comes up behind Xena and knocks her down and she gets surrounded. But, you see where we're going with this, right? That's right, a quick chakram takes care of all of those other pesky weapons, and oh boy, now they're screwed. So the correct answer was D. Well done to everyone who got that right. I love how happy she looks here.
You're with Draco. Tell him Xena says hello.
Back in the village, Gabby starts fangirling over the fight, and especially the chakram.
Where did you get that? Did you make it yourself?
Gabby's dad is like, hello, can you please leave? And Xena's like, K. Gabby begs Xena to bring her along, and really sounds like she's about to burst into a Disney princess song here.
I was born to do so much more.
I want more. Don't even think about it.
What? Following me?
Now we cut to Draco, who has a pretty badass hiring policy. If you can hit him with an arrow, you've got the job.
Ares has smiled on you. Sign him up. Get the others out of my sight.
His buddy Hector comes to report in.
Next time I see her, I'll kill her.
I love the way this line makes Draco smirk.
Pray to the gods you never have to deliver on that boast.
Love a smart villain. Xena sneaks into his tent, and we get a little bit of a sense of their past.
You look good.
So do you, except for that ugly scar.
It's nice of you to give me something to remember you by.
She asks him to spare Gabrielle's village, and he says he'll do it if she joins forces with him. She explains that she just wants to go home, and he doesn't take that very well. He says he tried to go home once and his dad tried to kill him with a blacksmith hammer.
You'll get the same treatment, I guarantee it.
Xena's got nothing to say to that, so she just pieces out. Meanwhile, Gabrielle tries to sneak out, but wakes up her sister in the process.
I'm going to join up with Xena.
But she's determined, so off she goes. The next day, Xena's horse gets all jittery crossing a bridge, then nopes out altogether as a Cyclops comes out to attack.
It's you!
Turns out Xena's met him before. She's got no time for that, so she uses the chakram to pants him, then whistles for her horse. On her way out, she gives him some career advice.
You could hire yourself out to a village as a protector.
But he's pretty attached to a life of people eating, so she leaves him to it.
Suit yourself.
Back in Draco's camp, he's sending Hector off with some men to scout for Xena. His plan is to march into her hometown of Amphipolis and burn everything down in her name. Well, that's one way to try and woo someone. Gabrielle reaches that same bridge and quickly gets put in a cage. How did she not hear him coming? She does what Gabby does best and starts trying to talk her way out of it.
I know Xena, the warrior princess.
I hate Xena the warrior princess. She blinded me.
Changing tack.
Who said anything about friends? I've been tracking her to kill her.
He seems to buy it, so she offers to bring him back some of Xena's body to snack on.
You do that for me?
I feel we're bonded in our hate for this she-demon.
That does the trick, so he lets her out.
Thank the gods for dumb cyclopses.
As she rides towards home, Xena realizes she's being followed and takes to the trees. She ambushes the rider at the back and starts making her way along the line. Hector finds her abandoned horse and stops to ask,
What do you think?
I think you got a sore throat.
Now we get the first ever Xena brain pinch.
I've just blocked off the flow of blood to your brain.
Iconic! Hector quickly tells her everything Draco's up to, and she hurries to Amphipolis to warn them what's coming. Meanwhile, Gabrielle's tired, so she lays down on the road until a merchant stops to see if she's okay. She instantly goes full theater kid to try and blag a ride.
I've been told that I'm very pleasant company on a trip.
She quickly realizes she'll have better luck if she's willing to listen to his stories, and a moment later she's climbing up on the wagon. Xena rolls into Amphipolis and pays her mum a visit at the tavern. It goes about as well as Draco warned it would.
Weapons aren't welcome in my tavern. Neither are you.
She warns them Draco is coming and offers to organize a defense, but they just tell her to
Jog on.
it's better than a blacksmith hammer at least. Hector reports back to Draco, and Draco tells him to choose a weapon and starts whomping him while telling the rest of his men the plan of attack. Then Hector tries to axe Draco in the back and quickly regrets it. Bye.
Damn! He ain't gonna be in Rush Hour 3.
Xena tries again to convince her mum that she's changed, but doesn't manage to get through. Then the rest of the town arrives to accuse her of attacking the valley, and that guy's hat is really stupid. They're scared to attack her, so she sets her sword aside. See, Mum? She's considerate now. They start lobbing rocks, but Gabrielle arrives just in time to save Xena by talking sense.
Let's say that you're right, and she's Draco's buddy. Let's say she's even his girlfriend. What do you think he'll be like when he hears that you knocked off his woman?
That seems to do the trick, so they agree to let Xena leave, and the two ride off to the tomb where Xena's dead brother is buried so she can have a heart-to-heart with him.
And I wish you were here. It's hard to be alone.
You're not alone.
Aww. Back in the village, Draco's arrived and the man with the silly hat is trying to bargain with him. He offers them some wagons of loot, saying it would be easier to just take those than kill everyone.
But not nearly as entertaining.
Draco says all he wants is Xena and demands to know where she is. Silly Hat Man doesn't know, so Draco's about to start torturing him when Xena gets back.
How was the homecoming? Did they throw you a party?
He takes another shot at getting her to join him.
Celebrate your dark side. Don't run away from it.
Hey look, it's exactly how they filmed every scene with Ares later on. Anyway, Xena's still not interested, so...
It's time to
Draco says...
Choose the weapon.
But Xena says...
You choose the weapons. I'll choose the condition.
Draco chooses spears, and Xena decides they're going to fight on some conveniently placed scaffolding, and the first one to touch the ground dies.
Kill the first one that touches the ground.
Fun, right? Draco's men give him a boost, while Xena has a more creative approach. The fight begins, and it's pretty clear the two are well matched, but it only takes Draco a few seconds to realize that it's a good tactic to start hacking out the wood from under Xena's feet. Her balance gets wobbly enough that the men start drawing their bows, but she quickly turns the tables. Now they'll both have to balance on the beams that are left. Shout out to the shot from the opening credits! Draco starts hitting Xena so hard that the support beam breaks under her feet. At this point, he's really only got to smack her hard enough on the hands to win, but he starts taunting her instead. A classic villain blunder.
You're gonna die for them and they despise you!
Big mistake. She catches his spear with her feet and jabs him in the face, then does an epic flip to get behind him. Nice. From there, she knocks him off balance, and he nearly falls off the beams, but then he just starts walking on people instead. Xena follows him, and the battle continues. Draco's only tactic so far has been to knock the support out from under Xena, so it seems pretty inevitable for him to start taking out villagers. She's not going to stand for that, so Draco gets a kick to the face, but one of his men catches him before he can hit the ground. He flips back over to Xena. She starts jabbing at his feet. His balance gets wobbly again. His henchman tries to come forwards to help, but this time Gabrielle trips him, and Xena finishes things off with an epic flying kick! And you know that's got to be our Smackdown of the week. Smackdown of the week! His men aren't really willing to shoot him, so she just makes him swear to get out of the valley by sundown.
Swear it.
I swear.
His mate tries to stab her in the back, but Draco does a quick murder to stop that from happening.
A deal's a deal.
So Xena has saved her village, and Silly Hat Man chooses this moment to say something really hurtful.
You can take the loot wagons, of course.
Xena doesn't take the loot, but she does take a hug from her mum before moving on from Amphipolis. That night, someone sneaks up on her camp. It's Gabrielle, who is apparently really bad at camping. Honestly, same. Xena tells Gabrielle she's sending her home in the morning, but Gabrielle says she won't stay there. Xena is, as we know, super weak to Gabrielle's puppy eyes, so Gabrielle gets to keep traveling with her, and it's the start of a beautiful friendship. Just about everything iconic about Xena is right there in this first episode. We have chakram throws, nerve pinches, the war cry, brooding about the past, adorable moments with Gabrielle. It's all there. I really like Draco as a villain for this first episode. He's charming, he's ruthless, he's smart enough to realize that it's better to have Xena on his side than working against him. And he looks good without a shirt. Overall, I'd say this is an amazing episode. It's the perfect mix of action, emotion, and comedy, and it really sets the tone for the show. It's just one of my favorite episodes. 5 chakrams out of 5. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button like Xena hit Hector in the throat. Let me know if there's an episode you'd like me to review next, and I will put it on the list. See you next time.